like a Hellcat.
Hey guys, it's RX Manga here, coming at you again with a review video. So before we jump into it, let's go ahead and get our RX energies. Sorry I couldn't wait for you guys, needed it. And we're definitely going to need it for today's review. You'll see in a second. Alright, so today we are talking about A Girl on the Shore by Inio Asano. Now, before we start, this is a very Inio Asano work. It is graphic in detail, it is heavy subject matter, it is very adult, and as it will tell you on the back, it is a hard 18 plus. I'll focus. It's a hard 18 plus. It's deals with very heavy subject matter such as teen sexuality, mental illnesses such as depression, anxiety, things like that. It's a very Inio Asano work. So getting into it, first off, if you like Inio Asano, you like what I consider more train wreck kind of stories, where it's not a very clear-cut happy ending, and it's a tough story to read for the subject matter. This is for you. This is your stuff. So moving on to the synopsis, this is basically a story about a boy and a girl. A boy Isobe, and a girl Sato. They're in middle school, and the girl has a crush on an older guy, and she blew him, gave him a BJ, and he does not like her, and she's still infatuated with him. But now this whole doorway of sexuality has been opened up for her, and it's them basically finding solace in each other sexually, but not in a kind of loving way. They make a very big point about her not wanting to kiss, and I feel like that is her understanding that if they were to kiss, it would be more of an admittance of love when she does not love him, and she's basically just using him for sex. But they do explore their sexuality quite a bit. There's actually a section in here about 3/4 of the way through that is like 20 to 25 pages straight of just graphic sex. Very explorative, and if you can't handle that stuff, this is not for you, because that's not the first or the last time that there's a large amount of sexual acts in this story. So it's, a kind of a coming of age story, that kind of thing, done in a very Inio Asano way, a very down to earth, graphic, no pulled punches kind of way. Life is harsh, here it is. So getting into the scoring, we first have our plot, which I love this story. I really like this story, but it had to get a 4 out of 5 for me. It's a great read, but I personally feel like the ending was weak, disappointing, unfulfilling, that kind of thing. It was unfortunate because I love the story through and through, and the ending seemed abrupt and just not fulfilling, really not fulfilling. It did not finish the story, in my opinion, in a very good way. It was very good quality. If you know Inio Asano, is very high quality. He does very good work, very original work, mostly for the reasons of he is not afraid to make it a hard 18 plus. he knows this is not going to be a story for everybody. He knows that this is going to get graphic, it's going to be mean, it is not going to be nice about reality and life, and it's going to give it to you how it is. But he does it very well, and I must stress, he does it very respectfully when it comes to teen sexuality. He handles it very well. It's not funny, sexy. It's very blunt with its sexuality, and he handles it in a very mature kind of way. It's paced very well up until the end. Again, the ending is very abrupt. It kills the pacing, and a couple times throughout the story, the pacing does jump a bit, which can leave you a little disoriented, a little lost for a second, but you can usually overcome that fairly easily. And for the most part, it's easy read. It's easy to keep going through it, but it's not. Certainly, some of the subject matter is not easy to read, and it's very complex, just like every Inio Asano work, dealing with many facets of life, of coming of age, and just the troubles of life, and the way you deal with it. Moving on to characters, easy for me, 5 out of 5. It's Inio Asano. He writes very original, very realistic characters. They're empathetical, they're relatable. In just every story he writes, he has such a good understanding of youth, young adulthood, coming of age, dealing with life, that kind of stuff. I'd highly recommend his work to anybody who likes the stories that deal with coming of age, slice of life, in a kind of harsh manner. Art is an easy 5 out of 5. It's Inio Asano. It's great. We'll flip this open to a couple pages I have marked to show it off. We have here we have some beach scenes, and again, the way he does his faces are very, very well done. Everybody has a similar but distinct face. Just like in real life, not everybody's face is super distinct, other than facial hair, of course. You could see the ocean, the way he handles it, all the shading is amazing, the detail is great. I love the way how he always has detail in his hair, always, how it flares out. Let's see if I can get this to focus a little more. How it always flares out into ends, just like, hair really does. Flipping up to another good example. Another beach scene. Just love the shading in the background, the way he does the birds, the sky. He's very good about capturing emotion in these scenes. You really get a feel for what the characters are feeling. And last one, just a scene I always love seeing in manga of just the bustling streets, the way he handles the trees, the cars, everything is just done very well. And again, I cannot give enough credit to the shading. It's so fantastic. It's easy Inio Asano 5 out of 5 on art every time. Like, he never ever disappoints when it comes to the art. It's always phenomenally fantastic. And last but not least, we have impact. That is personal effect. How hard does it hit you? Does it got a good hook? Does it pull you in, keep you reading? And how does it leave you at the end of the story? Now this one, I really could say about 90% of the way through, it was easy 5 out of 5. I already knew. I was already thinking ahead. This is easy. This is a great story. It's super impactful. It makes you feel all these feelings, and just throws the harshness of life and not knowing what to do or where you are very up in your face. And I love that kind of stuff in manga, but I will have to give it a 4.5 out of 5. So it does not get full marks, because it does pop, it does grab you early, it keeps things fresh and interesting by almost making you second guess what genre this is, because it starts off as kind of a lovey love story, then it moves on to just confused sexual exploration and finding yourself there, depression, dealing with that, all that, dealing with classmates and love triangles, kind of that kind of stuff. It's very well, but the ending, it loses me every time. I will rag on this ending forever. It feels abrupt. It does not leave you satisfied, especially I feel in the character who is the boy, Isobe, who's dealing with depression. It feels like he just gets over it. You know, like the old saying, oh, if you're sad, then just get over it. And as somebody who has dealt with a lot of friends who have depression and fiance who has depression, it feels, for how well Inio Asano handles a lot of his subject matter, it feels like he did not handle the depression with the kind of respect it deserves, because it does feel at the end like, oh, I'm over it. You know, Dad came home, I met a girl, I just feel better all of a sudden. So it did not feel satisfying. It didn't feel like he overcame anything or accomplished anything as far as getting over that. And then the way the story ends, as far as the relationships and that kind of stuff, it kind of feels like it all just flutters away, which is fairly realistic, I'll give it. But it's not really satisfying. It's not a very satisfying ending. But the rest of it was fantastic, and boy oh boy does this series make you feel the feels, as always. So that is my review on A Girl on the Shore. I would, of course, recommend it to everyone. I know I rag on the ending, but do I regret reading it? Absolutely not. It is very good. If you like Inio Asano, you gotta have it. If you like Solanin, it's a much more graphic 18-year-old version, I would say. Pretty similar, actually, now that I think of it. Pretty similar for the most part. But it's a great story. I think it breaks down to 4.5 out of 5. I would recommend it to virtually everybody 18 and over, of course. I would not, if you're 14, 15, 16, I would not give you this book. I'm sorry. I like to give recommendations of, oh, it's 16 plus, you know, oh, it's not that bad. It's a little graphic, but it's not that bad. This one, it's a hard 18 for me. I don't think you should be reading it under that. So again, thank you guys all for watching so much. Please give me some critiques down below, how I can make my videos better. Do you like this more structured review, going over all the plot, synopsis, all that stuff? And let me know, have you read this? Do you like it? Will you check it out? All that good stuff. Like, comment, subscribe down below. Give me a share with your friends who might enjoy this book. And as always, guys, I will catch you next time. Peace.
Like a Hellcat.